Hi, this is Anthony with ITC260 Web Apps here at Seattle Central. This video will cover how to do our MeisterTask project, but in a sense that we are going to add a task and then work it immediately, or we're going to pick up a task to work that's already in there. Now, just as a quick reminder, we work out of the backlog panel here, out of two separate documents, user stories here. You can see if there's any open tasks to pick up out of them, either here on the task list. You can double click on an item to see what those are, or you can pick up an unclaimed task. Also, keep in mind you can pick up a task, an issue in GitHub, and then add it to the list here and pick it up to work. If you do that, also make sure that you assign that issue to yourself in GitHub as well. There is a little bit of redundancy there that happens. Now, if you have any questions or want to read or are in a position where you can't watch videos, which I know is redundant to say this on the video, we do have a link to the document here. Now, also, I just want to state one thing. Since we're now talking about working items, you may have a pull request gatekeeper. That is essentially someone who would have this particular task assigned to them in the backlog section. That is the person that's going to make sure that the pull requests that are being operated on however the future sections have it set up, so that the pull requests aren't clashing with each other and you're not breaking your development or main branch. Now, in regards to that, let's go ahead and get into how to pick up an item to work or to add an item to work. So here I'm going to start off on the idea that we've added an item to the checklists. If you don't know how to add an item to a checklist, we covered that in the last video, but also just to make sure that we are being thorough here, click on Add a Checklist Item, and then add something. Something's broken, fix it. See? Now let's say that we want to, that's the item that we want to work. Now you can see that there's a little menu and the X and then a sort of a downward arrow. Never click the X, that deletes things. For example, I added these in our last video. We don't necessarily need to work those. So we can just go ahead and delete those. See, that's how that works. Now in regards to how do you, if you want to do this item to work, what do? You click this particular downward arrow, find Convert to Task. All right, it tells you, yay, this task has been converted into a task. So close out the item. Now it will, when you spawn a new task to work, it always appears in the backlog section. You want to do some things before moving it into the task in progress. So let's double click. You're immediately going to assign this task to yourself. Now, also in regards to that, you also want to make sure that you have someone watching this particular task. Who is that someone? Why, it would be your Scrum Master. Now, I am a Scrum Master in this project, but I'm going to say that my co-partner in crime, Liz the Bee's Knees Stone, needs to watch this item. And this is for the video. For video stuff. So, and that basically from there, you've gone ahead, you've picked up the item, you've recorded it. Let's go ahead and X out. It automatically saves. Let's go ahead and save it. Now also, let's go ahead and we spawn this, we move it into the tasks in progress. Excellent. Now let's say you run into some issues and you need some help. Ask Liz for help. No, Liz is already watching the Scrum Master. Let's say I've talked to the Scrum Master, I need some help. She said that Han is working. And so Han has been asked to help. So we're going to say it, and then we are going to add Han as a watcher. So then that way you two can sort of keep, so that way when you're working on stuff, you and Han both have ways to sort of get notifications as to what's going on with your item. If you have your settings set up accordingly, you will get emails if there's something's changed. Or for example, if your Scrum Master posts some activity on the account saying, hey, what's going on with this? You've had it open for a while. So yeah, let's go ahead, close that out. And that's how you pick up an item to work. Let me just also quickly double check I just showed you all my documents. You are welcome. How to add a task to work, blah, 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 blah. All right, so, yes. So in regards to, let's say there's this particular testing panel, you're working on something that does need to be tested. Now, not every iteration of your sprints are going to involve someone who's running testing. My particular one did have someone who was designing tests. I would talk to them about this particular item doesn't need to be tested. They're going to say yes or no, and then you'll move it into testing, and then they'll pick it up from there. So let's go ahead and say you've worked the item, you fixed it, it doesn't need to be tested. We move it into the done column. Yes, thank you. And so essentially what we are going to find out here is just moving it into the done column does not mean it's done at all. So there's one additional step here that we need to do. We need to double click once it's moved into the column and hit complete task. So let's go ahead and complete the task. It's been done. Excellent. It does tell you how many minutes it took you to complete the test. But then as you can see, it's got the green check mark, it's crossed out, and so that's how you know that the item is done, and then you can go back and find something else to do. If you are having problems, let's say like there's nothing here and there's no unclaimed tasks and there's no issues in GitHub, you can talk to your Scrum Master about finding something to do, or talk to your team members to see if they're struggling on something that you can help with. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a good one.